Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Jessie. Today we are doing what's probably my last big book haul of the year, because at this point I have now stressed myself out with buying too many books that I need to read. So this is it. I'll probably not put myself on like a book buying ban just because I never stick to them, and then I make myself feel guilty for buying books. But there are a couple more books that are coming out this year that I know I'm gonna need to grab, but I will definitely not have a huge book haul like this again before the end of the year, just because I need to read all of these now. So without further ado, let's just get right into this book haul. The first thing though that I want to mention before I get into the books, there is a company called Marie's Crafting. She has a little store online that is so amazing, full of handmade goodies like bookmarks and quote cards and stickers. And I just want to show you guys her new collection that released that's now available on her website. So all of this will be linked down below. First of all of her little bookmarks and such are so cute. She has a bunch of different sizes where you can get like these small mini bookmarks, and each side has a unique design. They're so pretty. I love how each of her standard size bookmarks have little ribbons at the top, and look how both sides are so pretty. I love the gold foiling that she uses as well on a lot of her bookmarks, and the watercolor designs are so pretty. So I absolutely love these bookmarks and these little quote cards that she makes. She also makes little like pouches for all of your little goodies to store in, and they're so cute, Harry Potter themed. And then finally, she just released these, and I'm so excited because these quotes are some of my favorites. So obviously for any Sarah J Maas fans, there's You Could Rattle the Stars. She has two different colors, and these are both stickers, which I love these so much. And then if you are a Strange the Dreamer fan, she's got this one here. It says, "The dream chooses the dreamer." I love that so much. And then the last one I have is, "I want to survive this world that keeps trying to destroy me." So how cool are these stickers? I love them so much. I can't recommend her shop enough, you guys. Please go check it out. It will be linked down below. And again, it is Marie's Crafting. All right, so getting into the books, let's start out with some thrillers and horrors. So I did manage to find at my used bookstore Nosferatu by Joe Hill. I am so excited to read this one in October. I think I'm gonna pick it up in October for sure, because I know that this is supposed to be a very scary book that follows a creature who kidnaps children and takes them to this made-up land called Christmas Town or something like that. It like reminds me of Nightmare Before Christmas when he goes to Christmas Town. But anyways, I'm really excited for this one. I've heard amazing things, and I haven't read any Joe Hill books yet, so I've definitely been interested in giving him a try. This one seems like a really good place to start. The next one was so kindly sent to me by the author, and it's called Nightmare by Chad Nicholas. It says, "Had it come back? No, it couldn't have. He had buried it for good, or at least that's what Scott told himself. But what if it had? Was that why the scarecrow now watched him? But the more Scott tries to ignore it, the more the evidence begins to pile up. So do the bodies, because sometimes the dead don't stay buried. Sometimes the monster survives. As the bodies mount and the secrets of his past grow more haunting, Scott must do whatever it takes to save his family. But what if by doing so they find out what happened all those years ago? What if they realize what he did? Scott learns that there's no escape from his own past or the crows that have crawled out of it. He can only watch as his life is turned into a living nightmare." This sounds so creepy. Another perfect book for spooky season coming up. And Chad is currently doing a pre-order sale. All of the information for this book is going to be linked down below if you want to check it out and pre-order it. It is officially released on October 6th, so I'm definitely gonna try to read it before then and give you guys my review so that you can pick this one up if it sounds really good to you. I'm really excited to read it. It is a beautiful book. Like, look at the naked hardcover, is amazing. Look at that scarecrow on the back. Oh my gosh. So I'm really, really excited for this one. Thank you so much, Chad, for sending it to me. The next book I have is World War Z by Max Brooks. I have seen the movie and I've heard that the book is very, very different than the movie. So I'm really excited to read it. It comes highly recommended from several people. I've heard nothing but great things. And again, I think like October time is just going to be the perfect time. I think I'm going to try this on audiobook as well to see if I like. I think it's told in a different kind of style format, so I want to see if the audiobook is good for that experience or if I should physically read it. If you've read this before, let me know which format is better, but I really am excited for this one, regardless of how I consume it. The rest are all fantasy. So here we go. The first one I have is the sequel to A Curse So Dark and Lonely, A Heart So Fierce and Broken by Brigid Kemmerer. I was a huge fan of A Curse So Dark and Lonely, which was like a Beauty and the Beast retelling. I thought it was so much fun. I loved the main character in that book, and I know that the sequel follows a different main character, so I'm curious to see how much I love it. I loved Brigid Kemmerer's writing style from the first book, so I feel like I'm gonna love this no matter what because of that writing style. So I'm really excited about this one. I've heard it's great. The next two books I have are just continuations of the Lightbringer series, which is such a good series. I am loving it so far, and that is Broken Eye, the third book, and The Blood Mirror, the fourth book. So now I can just binge these hopefully soon. I'm really, really excited to be continuing on with the series. I love the first book so much. The second book was amazing. Can't wait for these. Oh my goodness. If you want like crazy cool magic systems, Lightbringer is definitely your book. And the next two I have are continuations of the Witcher series, and that is going to be The Tower of Swallows, which is the fourth book, and The Lady of the Lake, which is the fifth and final book in the series. So I just finished The Time of Contempt. I'll talk a little bit more about my thoughts on that at the end of the month in my wrap up. I have mixed feelings on this series so far. I am invested at this point enough to finish it. I definitely want to complete it and see where these characters go and how all of this ends, but I have mixed feelings, which I'll talk a little bit more about during my wrap up. I also grabbed from the store Dragon Teeth by Michael Crichton. It was on sale at my bookstore, and I immediately had to pick it up because I loved Jurassic Park by Michael Crichton so much. Jurassic Park was such a fast-paced, fun science fiction book, and I've heard Dragon Teeth is very, very unique as well. I think it's like a Western sci-fi type thing. I don't know. It sounds great. I'm really, really excited for this one. I'm just planning on going through all of Michael Crichton's backlist and trying to read all of his books, so this will be my next one. The next book I have was also found used at a bookstore, and that is The Aeronauts Winless by Jim Butcher. I've heard really, really good things about this book. I've been wanting to try more books in the steampunk fantasy genre, and a lot of you commented that this was a really, really good one. I know Jashana loves this book, so I'm really excited to read it. The only problem is there's no sequel yet, and I know that this is supposed to be the first book. I don't know how long the series is supposed to be, but I don't know when the sequel's coming out. It makes me very nervous to read this, but I've still heard it's really good, so I do want to give it a try. I found it for really cheap at the store, so I'm really excited for it, and it'll be my first Jim Butcher book, but I do hope that we get a sequel announced soon. The next one I feel like needs no explanation because it's The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch. I also found this at my used bookstore for really, really cheap. My used bookstore is great. That's not super close to me, but it's close enough where I can like make a trip like once every couple months. So I definitely stocked up while I was there this time, and this was there. I had to grab it. I've just heard amazing things. I've heard some mixed things. A lot of people who love this book absolutely love it. Hardcore, it's like their favorite book of all time. And then some people are like, it's not the greatest. So I'm curious to see my thoughts on this one, how I'll like it. I know it's told in a lot of flashbacks, and it follows kind of this group of not so great people. So I mean, it sounds like an intriguing premise for sure. I really like found families. I really like unlikable, morally gray characters kind of having to work together. So I'm excited for it, and it's like one of the most well-known popular fantasy series. So we'll see what I think. Next one I have was a booktube made me buy it, and that is Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. First of all, the cover is probably one of my favorite fantasy covers ever. It's so stunning. I know that this one is a standalone. It's an epic fantasy. It has dragons in it, but I don't know too much about the actual plot line. I know that people either love this, or it's just like, eh. So the ones who love it have made me really want to read it. And I'm looking at you, Books with Brittany. I know she loves this book, so I'm really excited to read it and see what all the hype is about. This is a really big book. I'm very intimidated, but I'm excited nonetheless. The next book I have is because I am participating in my first readathon next month, and it is A Song of Wraiths and Ruin by Roseanne A. Brown. This one I've heard amazing things about, and look how stunning the shiny cover is. It's so pretty. I'm really excited to read this one. It's a YA fantasy. I believe it's got like an enemies to lovers trope in it. I'm very excited, and I know that this is the group pick book for the Royal Readathon, which Booked and Busy is hosting next month, and I'm very excited to participate. I'm going to link all of that information down below if you want to join for that readathon, so I had to grab it. I'm really excited to be reading this one. Next book I have, I also found at that used bookstore, and it is called Solace by Gail Carriger. This is another one that Jashana has made me want to read so bad. I've heard amazing things about this book, and this edition, I love when hardcovers are printed right on the book. They don't have dust jackets, so I thought this was such a cool cover. Look at the spine, it's so pink and pretty. I know that this is more of an urban fantasy. It looks great. It says it's a novel of vampires, werewolves, and parasols. Just sounds wonderful, and it sounds very cheeky. I just am really excited to pick this one up, definitely on Jashana's recommendation. So if you don't follow Jashana, I'm gonna link her channel down below because she's awesome. The next book I have, I'm so excited for. I'm actually buddy reading this one with Alan from the Library of Allenxandria next month. So if you haven't checked out his channel, I'm going to link that one down below as well, because he is one of my favorites, and it is Peace Turmoil by Elliot Brooks. You may know Elliot Brooks because she has a YouTube channel. She's wonderful, like one of my favorite channels ever, and she has published her own book, and this is the first book in her epic fantasy series. All I know, it's a very political fantasy, and the minute you say that anything has like political intrigue, I am there. I love political intrigue in fantasy books in particular, so I'm really excited for this one. It's so beautiful. Look at that cover. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I will definitely be keeping you all updated on this one, which again, I'm reading next month, so I can't wait. I also got Cinderella is Dead by Kaylin Barron, I think is how you say it. This is the most stunning cover. I loved the UK cover so much because she just looks so badass on it. So I believe that this is a Cinderella retelling. That's really all I know about it, but I have heard the most amazing things. Both Mariah and Chidimma have loved this book, and after seeing them rave about it, I was like, all right, I gotta pick it up because it just sounds so darn good. It says it's 200 years since Cinderella found her prince, but the fairy tale is over. I can't wait to see what all the hype is about, and yeah, it's just like one of the most stunning books ever. I love it so much. The next book I have was also sent to me so kindly by the author, and it's called James Clyde and the Tomb of Salvation by Colm McElwain. I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Here is what it says it is about. It says, picking up shortly after the events of the first adventure, James Clyde returns with his best friends Ben and Mary Forrester to his grandfather's house in search of a map that will lead them to the Tomb of Salvation, an ancient shrine where the 3 diamonds of orchestra must be returned with the promise of immortality. James and his company of adventurers journey through treacherous lands fraught with danger and meet many obstacles along the way. Dangerous assassins on board a train, the dastardly Gilbert, also known as the Man in Black, and even an unlikely encounter with a fabled lake monster. If they reach the Tomb of Salvation, James knows they will then face their greatest threat, for the tomb is said to be home to a terrifying demon, an entity that has shown no mercy to anyone who has ever entered its lair. The second novel in the James Clyde series will lead you on an action-packed adventure full of mystery, suspense, danger, hope, and yes, salvation. So excited. I know that this is more of a middle grade novel and it's the second in a series, like it said, but all of the books in the series can be read on their own. So you don't have to read the first book in order to read the second one. So this is the one I will be reading. I'm really excited for it. Look how pretty the cover is. This just sounds like such a fun time. And I definitely want to get more into middle grade. Very excited for this one. The next book I have was actually a huge sale online that I found this, and it was Mort by Terry Pratchett, but this is a special collector's edition. I think it's called like the Library collection or something like that, where they redid all of the covers in the whole Discworld series to match this kind of style where it's printed directly on the book, the cover is, which I love, and I just love the look so much of these covers. And I know that the Discworld series is one that I've been really wanting to give a try, and I know that you don't start with the first book in the series. You definitely start with either like Mort or Guards. There's a couple that people recommend you start with to see if you like it, and then you can expand into the rest of the Discworld. So the one I'm starting with is Mort because I know that this is like a death personified type character, and I'm really excited for it. I love that trope of death being personified into a character. So I'm really excited to see what all of the hype with Terry Pratchett is, and I love humor in my fantasy books, so hopefully this delivers, and I'm very excited. Next book I have was so kindly sent to me by Alex from Life by the Book. Alex just started his channel and uploaded his first reading vlog ever this past weekend. I'm gonna link it down below so you can go check it out. It's awesome. He reads Dune and A Woman in the Window in that vlog, and he's already a natural in front of the camera, and it's only his first video, and I'm so excited to see where his booktube channel goes. So he was so kind and sent me a book that's been on my wish list for quite a long time now, and that is We Are Legion by Dennis E. Taylor. This is a sci-fi novel that's apparently very funny. This was actually recommended to me a couple of years ago by one of my friends, totally outside of like the booktube community, and I had had it on my radar for so long because it just sounded so funny. Here's the first paragraph just to kind of give you a snippet of the humor in this. Bob Johansson has just sold his software company and is looking forward to a life of leisure. There are places to go, books to read, and movies to watch. So it's a little unfair when he gets himself killed crossing the street. Bob wakes up a century later to find that corpuscles have been declared to be without rights, and he is now the property of the state. The safest place for Bob is in space, heading away from Earth at top speed, or so he thinks, because the universe is full of nasties and trespassers make them mad. Very mad. So again, this just sounds like a really fun time. I haven't heard anyone talk about it on BookTube, so I'm very curious to see how I like this one. And again, sci-fi has not disappointed this year for me. I've loved almost every sci-fi book I've read, so I'm just really excited to jump into this one. And thank you again so much, Alex, for gifting this to me. So kind, so generous. Can't thank you enough. The next book I have is The Last Argument of Kings by Joe Abercrombie, the third and final book in the First Law trilogy. I read The Blade Itself, well, I actually listened to The Blade Itself on audiobook a couple months ago and loved it. The first time I had read physically The Blade Itself, I wasn't a huge fan because it just didn't have much plot, but the second time listening to it on audiobook, the narrator does such an amazing job of bringing the characters to life in a way that made me connect with them so much better. So I loved it so much more listening to it on audiobook, so I'm definitely planning on picking up Before They Are Hanged very soon, and I'm really excited to get to The Last Argument of Kings as well. I've just heard that Joe Abercrombie's books and world are just unmatched, and I'm just so excited to continue on in this world, in this series, and just see what all the hype with Joe Abercrombie is all about. And I'm obsessed with Glocta. I'm like obsessed with Glocta as a character after The Blade Itself, so I just need more Glocta in my life. The next three books I bought after completing Malice by John Gwynne, and it is Valor, Wrath, oh no, that's out of order, whoops, Valor, Ruin, and Wrath. All of the rest of the Faithful and the Fallen series I just went ahead and got because I loved Malice so much. I am so excited to continue on in this series. I've heard that it only gets better. I don't know how because I loved Malice so much, so I'm so excited to see where this series goes. I need more of these characters in my life. I love the world. I love everything about all of the characters, so I'm very excited to continue on and see what happens. All right, we are almost at the end. The next book I got was Elantris by Brandon Sanderson. I am so excited to be reading the rest of the Cosmere books by Brandon Sanderson because this is, I think, besides like some of the short stories, I think that this is the only book I haven't read in the Cosmere yet. Yeah, because I read Warbreaker, Mistborn, both eras. I read Stormlight Archives. I know that there are some of those short stories, and I think the graphic novels are also in the Cosmere, but I feel like Elantris is like, I have to read Elantris, so I'm very excited. I know that this is Brandon Sanderson's first book, but I've heard it's great, so I'm going in with expectations that I'm going to love it. I really have enjoyed everything Brandon Sanderson that I've read. 3 of his series are like my favorite ever. The only thing I haven't enjoyed really is Mistborn Era 2, but I think that that's a pretty popular opinion. I don't know if a ton of people absolutely love Mistborn Era 2. I think there are some. But yeah, I think I'm gonna really enjoy Elantris. It's Brandon Sanderson, so can't go wrong. And then the last fantasy book I have is The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson. This book, I don't know anything about it, and I saw it used at my bookstore for very, very cheap. I grabbed it because it's the beautiful, beautiful hardcover. This is such a stunning book. I love it so much. I know that this is adult fantasy. Look how pretty. I just don't know anything else though. It's a queen, and I don't know what a Tearling is, but I'm excited to find out. So we will see how I enjoy this. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. I just don't know what it's about. So I've heard good things. We'll see. Okay, the last 2 books I have are just more of like the classics, and I had a Barnes & Noble gift card that I got for my anniversary with my husband, and so with that gift card I bought some of the Barnes & Noble collectible editions, and I got Little Women, which I've just heard is some people's favorite classic of all time. This is one that I've been needing to read. I really want to watch the movie, but I've wanted to read the book first, so I'm really excited to get to this one, and it's the most beautiful edition ever. I love this cover so much, and the gold edges. And this one actually also has the other 2 books in this series, so Little Women, Little Men, and Joe's Boys. So I don't know if you have to read like the whole series, but I know that Little Women is a lot of people's favorite. So I'm very excited for this one. And I also grabbed The Murder on the Orient Express and other Hercule Poirot mysteries by Agatha Christie. So I have Agatha Christie's And Then There Were None collection. So this one was the second collection that I wanted to grab, and it also has the murder of Roger Ackroyd and Curtin Poirot's Last Case. So I'm really excited to read these. I love this edition. I've actually already read Murder on the Orient Express and loved it. Love it. So I really wanted to grab this one, read the rest of the books in this collection, and then have it match with the one that I have of the other ones. So I love the way they look together. So pretty. Yay! So those are all of the books I got. That is probably, again, my last big book haul of the year because now I gotta read all of these. So I'm done buying a lot of books until I catch up on reading all the ones that I have. I'm very excited about it though. So did you see any that are really exciting to you or that you've read and loved? Definitely let me know in the comments down below. I'm also going to make sure to link Jashana, Brittany, Mariah, Chidimma, Alan, Alex, all of their videos are down below. I love all of their channels so much, and a lot of these recommendations came from them, so definitely go check them out if you're looking for more fantasy recommendations and just great book recommendations in general. Thank you all so much for watching today. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe. I release new videos every Monday and Thursday, and until next time, bye!